Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, if your car is sputtering, you hire a mechanic. If your business is sputtering, you hire my next guest. His incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I think I'm speaking on behalf of all entrepreneurs at this point. You're building a machine, you're on the hamster wheel, you're rolling, but sometimes as you're growing the organization, you're still stuck on that hamster wheel. You might be growing the organization, but you're still as busy as you were from the day that you turned the lights on. So sometimes you have to get off the hamster wheel, and that's when you hire my next guest. Scott Levy is in the studio. He's the CEO of Resultmaps. Thanks for coming on the show.
Resultmaps.
Resultmaps.
There's another Resultmap.
Yeah. But thank you for coming on the show, Scott. I mean, we got a chance to know each other here just before the show. Tell us more about your company.
So we help CEOs and leaders who've grown their business really as far as they can through brute force actually replace the scatter that tends to come as your business grows with laser focus and getting everybody moving in the same direction. We help them replace the feeling of being on those hamster wheels with making progress every day, and then help them create systems that scale themselves so they can take themselves out of the business and really get the results they want.
Tell me one of your favorite success stories.
My favorite is an entrepreneur who'd been on the Inc. 5000 several times, and the company had kind of maxed out where he could push it to. Even though he did an incredible job, but he wasn't sleeping. They were having a lot of different problems, and we were able to help them in a very short period of time get 60% higher revenue, have their biggest years ever and their most profitable years ever. And we were able to do that in a completely remote environment. It was a lot of fun.
And CEOs and business owners have blind spots. I mean, they've been in the business so long, they may know how to do the business, but they don't have a fresh pair of eyes. So when you come in, is there typically, if you're looking under the hood, is there typically places that you look first?
Yeah, we go through a 9-point checklist, and typically one or more of those areas, even if it's not completely broken, maybe it's gotten out of whack and out of alignment. So we walk through, first we focus on that scatter and make sure that everybody's rowing in the same direction. We look at how the team's working together so you can get off those hamster wheels and you're seeing that progress day in and day out. Everybody can actually see it and feel it. And then putting things in place to kind of clean up as a system grows and a company is a system. As it grows, a lot of the things that made it work to get to where it is start to keep it from growing. And you can no longer do things the way you did as you add more people or more revenue or more customers. So we help assess what to do first and take you through that list.
And one of the things we were talking about before the show is distractions. I mean, every employee and every company has distractions. You have a way of dealing with that.
Completely. This has always been a problem, but today it's worse than ever. Teams typically tell us, we've got too many tools, there's too much information, I can't work on any priorities because new things come in. We're never really taught the skills for dealing with these things. So we provide some very simple guidelines, we provide some tools that help, and provide coaching to help people overcome that.
And you have your own podcast. We're going to put it up on the screen so that you can kind of talk over it. Tell us about your show and the kinds of guests that you like to attract.
So we'll talk with leaders who have been on that journey so that we can bring their lessons back to not just our clients, but anybody that's following along, that they want to understand how they can reach that next milestone in their business. And then in addition to entrepreneurs, I'll talk to authors, strategists, folks that really have a unique insight. so that, again, we can bring that to our audience.
He's not only hosting his own podcast, but he's a frequent guest on other people's podcasts. I found one clip that I loved. Let's go ahead and roll that.
30 seconds. What is Resultmaps and how did you fall into this?
So Resultmaps helps CEOs, leaders, and their teams get everyone on the same page, get visibility into how they're executing their strategy at every level of the organization, and actually get them to the results they're after twice as fast. It's called strategy execution software. If you look at how the ways people handle that have evolved over time, there's a lot of silo-based software tools out there. Like they handle like one aspect of things, but it's very difficult to connect all the pieces together. And you spend a lot of time trying to connect all the dots and moving between the different systems. Resultmaps keeps the focus on results, strong team fundamentals, strong operating rhythm, so you can keep everyone aligned and executing instead of micromanaging or juggling all your docs and meetings and things like that. That's how I usually explain the product.
Well, Scott, I love it that you kind of give away the gold. So, I mean, if you follow him on social media, you'll see just hours and hours of free content. So, Scott, you like to work with companies between like 3 and 30 million. Why is that your sweet spot?
I think it's because I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and I'm very, very familiar with what especially founders face as they try to grow their company. They run into these challenges, and to me, these aren't academic. This isn't something I had to research, like with my father who started 3 businesses. So I've seen exactly what these effects are like. And as I've learned through helping even large corporates, some of the techniques and the things that are available to us, if you just knew about them, I see it as being able to give back to, my family in a way. Think of my parents and my father. But this particular demographic, it really hits home because you're rowing close to the water. You don't have the coverage that a large enterprise has. And even though I enjoy working with large enterprises and it's a great living and I've had some success, this demographic really needs that help.
Okay, I'm speaking for myself, but CEOs have fragile egos. It's kind of hard to tell somebody their baby is ugly, or at least their baby needs maybe some rouge on their cheeks. So when you come into a company for the first time and you see all kinds of problems, how do you finesse that?
They've come to me, right? They're rarely saying, hey, come let me know what you think. It's usually, hey, I need to make a change. So they usually know at that point. Sometimes they've been at it for years, and you can successfully grow a company up to a point, and that's fantastic. But the best, I think, and the people that are really committed to continuing to grow will say, okay, it's time to do something different. And you have a sense, you kind of know. But sometimes you think, I'm going to work my way out of it. And it's after doing that for years and years and years and not seeing the growth usually that I'll hear from people or founders who've done it before. And they realize, hey, this time around, we're going to do this right from day one.
Wow. Well, I can see why you're so successful, because I think you're part coach, part therapist in a way, because you have to have a certain bedside manner.
You do indeed.
So in the final minute or so if somebody's watching this and they're thinking to themselves, I think I found my coach. What's the process like? Do you have a Zoom call or do you meet them in person?
Yeah, we do a short call. We do a strategy call, and we try to understand what your goals are. And even if you need to figure out what those goals are, we give you some tools to help. But once we can understand that, then we can assess, is this the right fit? And if it's not the right fit, we'll give you some free tools and resources and some introductions to where we think you need to go. But if it is the right fit, we get people started, and we start in 90-day sprints. And
love it. Well, thank you. Scott, thanks for sharing your wisdom with us. We're going to end with his website, which is resultmaps.com, the great Scott Levy. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.